Hello, ODAC fans, and welcome back to our latest edition of ODAC preseason videos here in our features. I have with us Josh Merkel, head coach for the reigning national champion Randolph-Macon College Yellow Jackets in men's basketball. They were picked number one in this year's ODAC preseason poll, as well as the D3Hoops.com preseason poll. And Coach, I don't know if the NABC had a preseason poll out there yet, but I'm pretty sure you're number one in that one too. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, JJ. Great to talk with you. Thanks for having me on. And preseason rankings, they certainly don't mean a whole lot. I think it's good for the fans and our alums. But as far as we're concerned, you got to play the game. And I think we're excited, though. New journey, new chapter. And, every year is different. And we got to prove ourselves. This year's group has not done anything yet.
Well, I think one other coach put it to me a very apt way that I think we can apply to all sports is it's nice to be number one and an honor to be number one in the preseason, but you want to be number one at the end of the year, and that's the goal. So I think that's what we're pushing for. And last year, that was you, 33-1 national championship squad. Just talk a little bit about the experience from that, having obviously now months to be able to reflect on it. But what's it like coming into this year's team with that experience on your back?
Yeah, I mean, experience is great, but you also have to have that mental toughness to be able to start new and to not assume that things will be easy, not want things to be easy. That you start from day one. You're meshing a group of newcomers in with some veterans that did have that experience, but collectively, it's going to be a little sloppy, a little messy. Those guys aren't going to be able to pick up things from day one, like your vets would want them to, and I would say we have a long way to go, but I love our group's approach, how they're competing daily in practice. I think that's what you need. But every team's doing the same thing. They're getting after it in practice. They're forming their identity. You hope to just continue to have that growth mindset, get a little bit better each day, and see where it takes you moving forward.
Well, you had about 18 days with the guys right now through preseason practice. Obviously, you got to take some days off in there with Division III rules and whatnot. But talk about how some of your returning guys are looking and who you expect to be your leaders this season to keep you at not only the top of the ODAC but top of Division III.
Yeah, the thing I love about we lost four great players, leaders. Not just Buzz, but Fundy was an unbelievable teammate and leader. And was always talking to our big guys. And then Ian, was a shooter, and Q was a defender and a shooter. And the experience that those guys had, they were talkers. They were passing that along. And our guys now in a leadership role are using their voices and coaching the younger group and finding their way as leaders. So, Miles Mallory is more on the quiet side, but he certainly feels empowered. And when he speaks, he's got great substance to what he says. He really sees the game at a high level. I love his basketball IQ. And then Josh Talbert has played a lot of minutes for us and certainly knows a lot of basketball and is helping out the young guards. Noah Lindsay's been an awesome leader. So I just, naming our three seniors. And then I would add Daniel Bonge to that mix as well, just in terms of an alpha competitor. He wants to bring out the best. He's really competing and challenging other guys to raise their level. Because, a lot of times the young guys, they don't know what they don't know. They don't know the level that they can get to. And I think that's what we're working towards. And that positive peer pressure can mean a lot more than coming from coach.
Oh, absolutely. And, that peer pressure now is a national championship trophy in the mantle. So that looks good as well as far as being able to lead by example. You mentioned it before. Obviously, college sports cyclical, and it's having to recruit and have people graduate and keep on going with the cycle. What's new this year? Who's new this year for Randolph-Macon that can help mesh with your guys and keep you at the top?
Yeah, it's a talented group. I love 8 freshmen, so it's a bigger class than we've had,
right.
And so that can lead to some growing pains. I would say on any given day, one of those guys looks really good. It's the consistency. A few have gone up and down with some injuries, so durability, who can be available. But it's a group that brings some different things to the table. We've got a number of guards that can hunt the paint or make a shot. I think defense, us being, a defensive-minded program, those guys have a lot of gaps to close. But I'm excited about all of them adding value in some way. And that doesn't always mean on the court, but just the way that they're approaching, living in the gym, getting the extra reps. I really like what those guys have done. It's a group that I almost have to kick out of the gym right now.
Well, that's a good problem to have. other problems coming up here, obviously with the ODAC ranks, but we do think that the ODAC gauntlet kind of prepares you when you get to those upper level
Yeah.
NCAA tournaments, maybe some of those non-conference tournaments you go play around holiday time, that sort of thing. New this year, we have Averett University in the 13th member to the men's basketball playing sponsorship, 15th overall in the conference as a full-time member. What do the Cougars bring to the table here with Averett coming in, having won several regular season or tournament championships in the past 10, 15 years in the USA South?
Yeah, I mean, well, David does a great job and proven winners. I mean, those guys step on the court, they expect to win. They're tough, they're physical, they're defensive minded. They have a plan, and we watched them up close last year, and just watching them play. Their record wasn't where I know he wanted to be early, but they had a connectedness about them that you knew those guys were going to get better. And sure enough, they're the team playing in the NCAA tournament. So, and you mentioned it too, JJ, but the league really does, it prepares you to play and compete among the best teams in the country. And I'm still disappointed that ODAC is not quite getting the respect in the poll. Of course, we don't care too much about the preseason poll. We're gonna have to fight for that postseason poll. But I just think you look at the league and you look at what the league has done traditionally, and there's some really, really good teams and good coaching. And it's been a battle. There's no guarantees that there's just no guarantees in this league.
Well, and I think that's where I wanted to go next as we finish up here. As we take a look at the league, we know the quality of the teams we've got there. We've got 11, I think, of the 16 or 18 all conference guys back this year, so just a little over half. So there's going to be a lot of names out there that people recognize. Roanoke's got a couple. Guilford will have one or two of them back. Hampton Sydney's on the up. But talk about the coaching a little bit here. As we mentioned that, a couple new coaches into the league this year. Shenandoah has a new head coach. We talked about David coming in from Averett, but there's a lot of really good quality that has experience, either both played in the conference or has been in the conference now coaching for a number of years. Talk a little bit about from that perspective, the camaraderie that you guys have, but also getting out there and fighting for it on 16 nights here when it comes down to ODAC play.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, I've got so much respect. I think that's how you grow and get better when you're in a league that's as competitive. But I can really look to how teams are guarding a certain action in our league and know that some guys do it at such a high level, it's almost the standard. And so if we're not doing it the way that a Roanoke or a Guilford is doing it, then we know we got work to do. And so I think that's helped our team too, because and from a player standpoint, just you have to play to a standard or you're going to get exposed, and that's night in and night out. And so, without even, I mean, I could go down the list, but I'd still be leaving out some coaches that I really respect. It's awesome to be a part of a group that if you don't bring it, you're going to get exposed.
Well, and I did that as well. I'm kind of keying that up because Ferrum also has a new coach that played in the league as well. So looking forward to, seeing them get out there. We certainly won't forget about anybody as we get down to brass tacks here when the season starts. November 8th is when games are allowed to play. We'll be back in the Salem Civic Center in February for the ODAC tournament, and hopefully further on for not just you, but maybe a couple other of your brethren there heading on to the NCAA tournament. Coach, I want to thank you for joining me today, and good luck this season.
Yeah, thanks, JJ. Look forward to seeing you in a couple of days.